Hello everyone, this is Caillou, and I'm here with Dodger, and we're going to be co-commentating the semifinals match for Grand Prix Mistake Island. This is the largest GP that MSEM has ever had, clocking at 34 players. But right now we're down to just 4 of those players, and 2 of them are going to be duking it out to see which one of them is going to get a spot in the finals. So basically this is 4th place or 1st or 2nd place, depending on who wins. So on one side of the table we have Augur, who is on Blue Red Burn, which is one of the blitziest burn decks in the format. But Plipster is on a very blitzy deck themselves on MonoBlack Dredge, which essentially burps out a board from the graveyard and has great recursive potential. So it's going to be interesting to see which of these decks can essentially goldfish faster, but they also have interesting interaction points. So I think where and like if they can like leverage those is going to be something to look out for. What do you think of how this game's been going so far, Dodger?
I think that Plipster definitely has a pretty solid hand. Obviously, it would be best with a second land, but you can make do off of just one. Plipster had obviously the famous interaction between Torment Lands and Future Lurker, being able to play a Torment Land, discard the Future Lurker, and immediately get it back. I'm curious as to whether Augur considered blocking the Future Lurker with the Avatar. Because if you don't do so right here, I think you're mostly committing to racing. Um, which I think is fine. I think Augur definitely has the tools to win the race, but maybe not in her hand as of right now. Um, I'm a little concerned just because Augur is almost out of spells. And I think that if it comes down to a straight up race with not very many resources, then Plipster might actually be able to win that just because they have recurring damage with the creatures that they can burp out.
Yeah, the clock tower though is it's a card. I think that if Augur like drops in next turn, like it's scary.
So I think Plipster, or no, sorry, I think Augur missed the Rikiri Dissidentry. I believe Plipster cast Darkrai Cultist and then did not take 1 damage. Okay, so Augur is just pointing it out now. Okay, that
Okay,
feels like an
cool.
appropriate window to me.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
Pilcher was kind of zooming there, but and
yeah,
glad we don't want judge calls here. We're good without
we
it.
do not. But like,
Okay,
I'm also just thinking
so is
like
Augur gonna
Augur
kill
pointed out the
something with the
trigger.
Storm Surge, or is it all six face? Oh, kill. Okay, so it's gonna kill Dark Red Cultist with the Storm Surge. Unjust
I
goes
think
face
killing the cultist is absolutely worth it here. Just
because
because.
like also like the cultist it makes the 5/5, and the 5/5 is the only thing that can reasonably block the Blundering Clock Tower and maybe prevent lethal. Everything else in Plipster's deck has 3 toughness or lower, so. And wow,
Yeah,
yeah. Plipster just conceding right there. Did
I
not hit that
actually don't
second
know if
land.
Plipster needed to insta concede, but like the writing's pretty much on the wall. If Augur animates Clock Tower, I don't know if that's actually lethal straight up. Maybe I'm doing my math wrong. Like
I think it
Plipster
was
could
more
maybe
just
have,
like Plipster had no resources there. Like like
yeah, I
could
think
play the
that
Shadowban
hand is,
console, but it enters tapped, and then you're left in this weird space where you're doing 3 damage a turn, Augur's doing 4 damage a turn, and then Augur has a way to close out the game while you don't.
yeah. Well, I think that Plipster after the mulligan was probably really banking on drawing a second land. And the fact that they didn't really have that meant that they actually weren't able to utilize the resources in their hand very efficiently at all. And then Plipster just fell way behind on tempo, and Augur was able to close out the game.
So if I remember right, Plipster has Stay Determined in the sideboard, which is basically black instant. Whenever you would lose, I think it's I don't know if it's dealt damage or lose life, but one of those two, um, you instead mill that many cards, and it's going to be interesting to see how Augur plays around that because I think that's a very powerful tool in this matchup.
I think it's whenever a source you don't control would cause you to lose life. I
Okay.
believe that's how it's worded.
hmm
Um,
I see. I thought I knew what it did until I thought about it, and I'm like, oh no, never
so
mind.
you can't like make it so you can like deal 100 damage to yourself and then mill your whole deck, basically.
Gotcha.
Flipster. Okay, yeah.
So Blipsters, I think you play the blood. Yeah, you play the Brotherhood Conspirant, and then next turn you can go Hazy Coppice, discard Deadwood Grove, Ombridu, and that's setting yourself up for the turn three.
Yeah, that seems very, very powerful to me. This does feel like a matchup where whoever is on the play is pretty favored. So I think it's actually pretty huge that Augur managed to win game one, given that she was on the draw. I
Yeah,
assume
that.
Augur comes. Am I crazy?
No, no, you're right. You're right.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, now you just discard. Oh, oh yeah, I guess the Dread Resurrection is just cheaper
Red
from the
Resurrection
grave.
is a better discard than
Yeah, yeah,
the
and the
extra.
Deadwood Grove allows you to discard whatever you draw next turn in case it's something you can't
Hmm.
play. So yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And then and now like because Banished Companion to Plasma Addict is a dream curve for the burn deck, but now you're sitting here like, well, fuck me.
You
Like,
just don't have
okay.
an answer to this, Augur. Like you just don't.
Yeah, your answer is be faster, but like you die next turn, so you have to block, which is not where you want to be.
Yeah, I think this
And you
game is more
can't win by
focused.
blocking. I think you just lose. You don't have interaction that lines up into this.
Yeah, I mean, I think the correct play is to attack with the addict, but and then just like somehow hope you find the extra 12 points of damage next turn somehow.
I
But I just don't see it
mean, they.
happening.
I think if Augur's Hand was land and then three burn spells, you get there. Augur's Hand is not land and three burn spells, so she is gonna have uphill.
It doesn't even get there because the burn spells are going to be 3 damage each, so that's not even enough damage, right? Am I crazy?
No, you're right. I just can't
Yeah.
math. Um,
I was just saying the next 12 damage because Plipster is at 15 and you assume that the Plasmatic's going to attack for 3, right?
right,
But yeah,
right.
Augur does need to come up with 15 damage. Um,
This is. Armbrew is a nasty card. Whew.
yeah, this is one of the most ridiculous stretch hands I've seen. I mean, like it's not even that unlikely to
Yeah, this
happen.
is a thing.
You know what I mean?
Like the only thing that's holding Umbredo back is that like if you interact with it, like if you have a removal spell, Dredge feels silly. But otherwise, like yeah,
Well,
otherwise
Dredge
right, it's
doesn't
just a
even feel that silly
concession.
in the
Like what
face
are you
of a
gonna
removal
do?
spell.
Huh?
I mean, Dredge doesn't even feel that silly in the face of a removal spell because Dredge actually has tons of tools to continually grind out value.
Oh, I mean specifically
And
for the Umbredo
yeah, but
case.
I don't actually think that's a big deal because just Dredge wants to dump its hand anyway. You know, like it's not like you're dumping your hand just so you can have a big slash big. It's like you're dumping your hand so you can play a bunch of creatures for very little mana, and you also have a big slash big.
I would also argue though that Dredge needs to have some sort of board presence to really like in some form to really like get the most value because
Yeah,
you want
yeah,
fodder to sack to bring back Dremora. You want something you can sack to Recurring Abomination. You want something you can sack to Dread Resurrection. And when you don't have those, things get iffy. If you have like a Departed Evangel in your hand, then whatever, go wild. Departed Evangel is the best thing you can ditch off of it because you can just keep recasting it. But then like Shadowban Console is iffy because you can't cast it unless an opponent has been dealt damage. And then like Ceaseless Stalkers don't come back unless you've brought something else. So like depending on your like we saw the hand there, like if Augur was playing control instead, could have just gone like Pitwilt out of body experience. Okay, you're back to top decking, and I have ample time to do anything I want.
I think my point was more just like that the downside of Umbroda Goliath doesn't really exist in Dredge. That was mainly my point. Um,
I think it exists more than you're giving it credit for, but also yeah, like it's still stupid. It's still very stupid.
yeah, I also think I'm almost ready to call it a Plipster victory with
Oh,
this game.
this game?
I'm not sure. Oh wait, actually, hang on. Oh wait, Plipster. No, Plipster doesn't have a second land. I am very wrong. I'm almost ready to call this an Augur victory.
Yes,
That's that's kind of how binary this matchup is almost.
yeah,
Like
because like another land would have been great because then you play a land, you discard for Putrid Lurker, or yeah, you discard a
yeah,
Putrid Lurker or a Ceaseless Stalker. Then you play a
it's
Blood
it's kind of
Brotherhood. You swing in with Shadowband, sack both, bring back Dremora. Without that, like I guess you just swing with Shadowband, play Brotherhood, sack both to bring back Unbound Remora in response to removal
yeah.
if you need it. I guess.
I think if Plip has a second land there, I think they outright just win the game. Pretty sure. Um, but with Augur having this hand, I think that this is pretty dicey. Especially like the problem with playing Brotherhood here is that like I think you're. I actually don't really agree with the Shadowman console attack there because you're essentially just letting Augur deal 2 damage to your face, and like that's going to be like potentially from Plipster's perspective, you need to be in control. Like Augur is clearly the
Did
beat down here.
could like Plipster have forgotten about the can't block text on Dremora?
Possibly.
I could see that. Okay, no, it's
Well,
playing Depart.
Plipster might have also forgotten about the can't block text on Departed Evangel.
Yeah, this is the problem with lots of our black aggro thets. They line up
I
really badly into the mirror.
I think if I'm Plipster here, I just don't attack with Shadowband console.
Yeah.
I think you need to dissuade the Rikiri Dissident attack.
Okay, so we're
At
waiting
this
on
point,
it. We were
Plipster is
waiting
going
on
to
Augur
go
to have a
entirely
third
wrong.
land because third land means Brazen Sacrilege plus Scorch. I think if you're Augur, you play Brazen Sacrilege this turn and then um, Brazen Sacrilege face, and then you hope to top deck a land because then you can Scorch plus Brazen Sacrilege. Otherwise, you can just go Scorch plus Unjust Sentence next turn and wait for another. So
Well, Plipster is going to 8 right now. Okay, Augur's just going to do double bolt. Um, this means
I don't
effectively
know
Plipster
how much
gets
I
to
agree with
cast
this in terms of
one more
sequencing,
spell.
but okay.
Perfect. Plipster gets to cast 2 more spells potentially this game. Um,
I mean, not with that one land.
well, it's not like they're going to anyway. But okay, Plipster is going to cast.
I don't
I'm
know.
actually a little concerned that Plipster might actually be able to outrace here because Augur is paying 2 life every time, every turn with her lands.
Hmm. It's actually,
So
yeah,
I
it's gonna come down tight because okay, so next turn.
this
No,
is
wait, wait,
starting
wait.
to feel a little scarier to me
Oh no, no, no.
for
Okay,
Augur.
so if Augur top decks a land, she just wins.
Yes.
Otherwise, you swing in with the Rikiri, Plipster blocks with Brotherhood. You can probably afford to.
Oh, okay, that's G. Augur drew a
Yeah,
second
okay.
bolt.
So then you just Scorch plus
Oof,
Unjust, and man,
damn. This is like the second GP match I've covered in like less than an hour.
this I think this entire set has taken less than 15 minutes, and it's been three
Yeah,
games. Lord.
yeah, and I covered Augur versus Pipsqueak too, and that match was very quick as well. Even the game Pipsqueak won was very quick.
Burn is just like like both Burn and Dredge. They're just very feast or famine. You win or you don't, and there's a certain attractiveness to that. You know, you just get to
Yep.
play your games quickly. The decision points, while they exist, are not as salient as they are for some other matchups. So you just,
I don't
I,
know what the point of. I don't know what the point. Like, do you gain anything by attacking here first with the Curie Dissident, or is this just to slow roll it? Like, I don't think.
I think it's just to do you have anything? But like I don't like
Well, Blister doesn't have mana available, so you don't have to worry about stay determined.
yeah. So
Uh,
I don't know. Okay,
Augur is really slow rolling this.
hmm and there we
Okay,
go.
there we go. Why did Augur take 4 damage?
Because Rikiri plus the Crystal Caverns.
Oh right. Oof.
Yeah, so that
Yeah,
came right down to the
that was
wire.
there are a bunch of draws in Augur's deck that means she basically just loses the game there.
I mean,
Um,
but then there's also a bunch which just means she wins, like that one.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
oh
yeah.
man, it's just so fast. And it's gonna be interesting to see because okay, I think that in the other semifinals match we have the four color
It's
essentially four
gateways
color ramp
versus
which
depth.
on from
Yeah.
gateways and chop shops uh from Infinity Chef. I think Chop Shops, unless you get like a god draw a few games in a row, kind of just bites it to burn. Um,
Yeah. I think that Infinity Chef's semifinal matchup is kind of the dream opponent though. Um, if your
so
opponent
so
is
it's gonna
playing a bunch
be
of
interesting because I think
burrowing,
Gateways actually has a reasonable chance versus Augur despite how slow they are because of stuff like Stand Unassailable. They have some explosive tools like Children of the Clouds. They can kind of like as long as you can like play a proactive game and like ramp out early, you can potentially still compete there. While I think for
I'm not
Infinity
super
Chef,
convinced about Gateway's chances versus Augur actually.
I mean,
Like,
I think it's still a fighting chance compared to Chop Shops, which is just have glistening chalice or you roll over and die hard.
yeah, well, actually, I think Chop Shop is pretty competitive. If you can get some kind of like quick facsimile as well, that would probably involve a pretty lucky Tinker's Tools draw. Um, but I could potentially see that as well, or maybe you just happen to draw it and like you Kelly shops it out. But overall, I think Burn should be favored in either of its potential finals matchups. So I'm actually pretty confident in saying I predict Augur to win the GP at this
Yeah, and
point.
like Augur is no stranger to winning GP with Burn. Has a bunch of lava spikes under her belt. And I think she got like season champion for last season. So that
Oh wow, I didn't know that. Cool.
unfortunately for this season, this win comes a little bit too late because this is the last GP of the season. But
Is it locked
if
in for this week now? Because
um,
I'm out and
I think it's locked in for
Meg is
egg. I think it's
fine.
locked in for egg because
Really?
I think Pipsky could
Oh,
tie it.
right. Yeah, because Egg has 2 wins, right? Yeah.
Anyways, this is normally the part where I'd cut us off because we were rambling, but that entire match was so short that like I don't feel that it matters. So, but yeah. Anyways, um, thank you all for watching. Um, and we'll see you back here for the second semifinals match, which we talked about Gateways on Four Color Ramp versus Infinity Chef on Colorless Chop Shops. And then for the finals of Grand Prix Mistake Island, which will be streamed on twitch.tv/Caillou102. Timing pending, but once we know, we'll let you know. But until then, this is Caillou and Dodger signing off.